Hey folks, welcome to this week's episode of Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain, and with it being the holidays, we want to do a best of series for you. We wanted to show you all the best series we've had so far to date, and we really want to thank all of our viewers out there for tuning in each week and watching the reruns and giving us great comments and just being very supportive of our show. In 2016, we want to make sure we bring you some really good content, some good guests, a lot of information, and we are very pleased to have this show up and going, and couldn't do it without your help and without sponsors' help like Knob Creek Gun Range. So we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You got drafted Baltimore, you were with Ray Lewis and all those guys. How was that, just being around those guys as a pro?
When you first get there, it's intimidating. My first pass was to Shannon Sharp, and like as a Baltimore Raven, so that was pretty cool, But then once you get around them, you just see that, hey man, these guys worked the same way as you did to get to that level, and so that was a great experience for me to learn from these guys too. And they've been professionals for a lot longer than I was, and so I kind of learned how to be a professional from those guys. So, Ray Lewis is one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around. He works like a quarterback on the defense side of the ball. So, it was neat to be around those type of people and learn from them.
Now, did you ever get any of your teammates into hunting?
I did. I had some guys that one being Matt Ryan, who was from Philadelphia in the cities of Philadelphia and never got out, and I got him out in the woods, and he loved it. He actually liked bow hunting more than he liked gun hunting. He absolutely loved it. And then another quarterback was DJ Shockley. He was a guy that he never thought that would make him nervous, but it definitely made him nervous when that first deer popped out.
I always say that if you ever lose that feeling, no matter what you're hunting, you might as well just give it up. I still get nervous when I shoot those. I still get that butterflies and that anxiety. Sure. And that's part of it, and that's what I enjoy about it most.
No question.
What really got you into hunting?
My dad, when I was real young, we'd always be chasing rabbits somewhere, and we had beagle dogs since I was a little kid, and to be just outside with my dad was probably the most important thing. But to be out there and chasing rabbits and shooting quail, and that's kind of how I got my start. And then it wasn't really till in high school that I figured out this deer and turkey thing, and then once I did, I really got connected to it, and I just love, like I said, I love being outside and being out in the woods and watching, the sun come up and go down.
That's
and
right.
So
that's what it's,
that's what it's all about for me. And so I had a chance to get into deer and turkey, and it's opened a lot of great doors, and I've had so much fun getting other people into it as well.
You just got back from Montana. What part of Montana was you in?
We were in a town called Dillon, Montana. It's kind of the southwest region of Montana, and I encourage anybody if they get an opportunity to go out there, because if you like turkey hunting, if you like deer hunting, it's put together on steroids. It's just so much fun and so entertaining, and if you have a bow in your hand, it's really hard because of the elk are so good at their noses are so good, and so it was tough sledding, really hard walking up and down those mountains. But it was fun. It was a blast, and coming away there with nothing is still a lot. It's a blast.
It's still worth going.
Sure.
Now, it is tough walking. Are you still in football shape?
Not quite football shape, but
but you almost need to be to go out west.
Yeah, but I did. I tried to get back in shape when I was going out there, and I did a lot of cardio for when you have to. It's a different altitude.
It's very thin air. When you were playing, you were going to all these great states and playing all these wonderful hunting cities. Did you ever get the urge just to miss that plane and be like, man, I'm going to have my bow shipped up here?
Oh, man. Everybody was wondering when we were in Green Bay, and I'm just looking out the window like every, thicket and everything that we're driving by, and, they're like, what are you looking at? I'm like, I'm looking for deer. And that's just, I would love to do it, but if you don't get on that plane, they're going to leave you. So, unfortunately, in football, business side of it, you go up there, you get your job done, and then you come home, and so there's not a lot of time to take in the hunting.
And unfortunately, football is right at the prime hunting time here in Kentucky.
Right.
And Indiana just started up the October 1st, so when you were up there practicing and playing, all your buddies that you hunt with were out in the woods.
Yeah, no question. They're sending me pictures and crushing me, man. I'm just like looking forward to those retired years. Well, here they are, and now I get a chance to in the fall to go out there and get a little hunting in during this time of year, and not be it's a little less stressful than the football years.
Absolutely, and a lot safer.
Sure, well, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, depending on who you're hunting with.
That's right.
Just don't go to Bobby Knight.
That's right.
Now, every hunter has a bucket list. What is your bucket list? What do you want to accomplish before you're done hunting? What animal? Is it African animal? Is it big game? What is it that really burns you up that you want to get done?
Yeah, right now it's probably a brown bear hunt in Alaska. Is something that I really want to do, and I have some friends that live up there and said you got to do it. So I'm really looking forward to do that one day. And I'd like to go to Africa maybe to shoot a kudu. I think a kudu is really be something really cool. But you know, to shoot an elk with a bow is something that I strive to do too. I'm going to keep doing that until I get one, because that is the ultimate for me, is to get one of those big 300 class elks with a bow, for sure.
See, you know, famous Chris Redmond has the same goals that all of our hunters have. You know, mine's caribou. I want to bow hunt a caribou.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm sure at some point I'll get that opportunity to do that, but you know, that's my bucket list. I really want to get the caribou.
That's cool.
I've seen some guys do it, and it's ridiculous when they're in migration pattern. You know, you got 100,
so many of them.
100 of them coming through
it looks really
at
fun.
30 mile an hour. And so, what kind of equipment do you use? What do you feel comfortable with on your bow, and what's your equipment?
Well, I shoot a couple of different bows right now, and you know, I don't shoot competitively like you did, but I like to shoot when I can. I try to get my kids out to shoot as well. So you know, whatever I get my hands on, if it's got a string on, I want to shoot it. So I've kind of haven't really got one bow that I love yet. You know, I'm just trying a bunch of different ones out. I've Hoyt, actually a Winchester bow that I've been shooting.
Winchester makes a really good bow.
Yeah, they do. And so that's what I was using out in Montana, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, but like I said, I love to just be out there shooting something, and I'm really liking this bow thing.
But I look forward to hunting with you this year, and you're going to see it. I'm sure you'll be on our show with us this year.
Yeah.
And I can't wait, Chris.
Looking forward to it. Thanks,
Tom.
Tom.
It's a pleasure, man. Thanks a lot.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain. Now every week we tell you about our great sponsor, Knob Creek Gun Range, and we go into all the different aspects of what they offer here at Knob Creek. And today we actually wanted to bring you on location and show you what they have to offer. With me I have Kenny Sumner. Kenny,
hi.
Appreciate your time today.
Good to be with you.
Now tell me a little bit about Knob Creek. How did it get started, and what do y'all do here?
My dad started the range years ago, actually back in the early 60s, and it's been a gun range ever since. And I started running the gun range in 1980. He turned it over to me to run and make it or break it, as you might say. So we've been making it ever since. So.
And you've done a great job. You know, across the country, I've hunted all over this country, and you know, you're more famous for your machine gun shoot that is known countrywide. I've been in Montana elk hunting, and they say, "Where are you from?" Kentucky. Well, they have the machine gun shoot there. So everybody knows Knob Creek as the machine gun shoot.
Yeah.
But it's not all you offer here. You offer a variety of different things.
Right.
What kind of weapons do you usually carry here?
We sell a good selection of handguns, bolt action rifles, semi-auto, you know, the black rifles, as you might say,
Sure.
assault rifles, revolvers, just a full slew of all of them.
And you have everything you need for, and we talk every week about Knob Creek, how, you know, most of our viewers are hunters. So you have everything from any type of hunting rifle you might want, whether you want to hunt with a pistol, hunt with a rifle. Do you carry slug guns?
I have a few. I don't sell a lot of slug guns, but I do have a few. And anything we don't have in the store, we can order and get it in here. So.
And you also have the scope rings, scope bases, things of that sort. Everything you need, including ammunition, of course, to supply your local hunter.
Yes, sir. We sure do. We do mounting and bore sighting on the hunting rifles. So if anybody needs their scope mounted and bore sighted, we can take care of that for them. Then we have the range where they come out and shoot. Range fees just $10 a person to shoot for the day.
Right. And you also have a yearly, where you can do a yearly, right?
Yearly membership for an individual is $100. You don't have to pay the $10 fee when you come out. Just come out and shoot as often as you can afford to.
So, you know, $10 a shot or $100 a year. If you're an avid shooter, or if you're hunting, if you're setting in several rifles, whether it be muzzleloader, pistol, whatever you're doing for deer season, you can always come out here, and for $100 a year, you've got it. I mean, you can shoot as many times as you want to.
It's a bargain in every sense of the word.
It is. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you're known for, your machine gun shoot. Tell us a little bit about how that goes on.
Machine gun shoot, we do that in April and October, and we have shooters that come from across the country out here to shoot because they just don't have the range to shoot.
Sure.
And some of the laws in the states won't allow them to shoot full auto, so we're fortunate enough that we can do that.
God bless Kentucky.
And we can do that, and we have the pyrotechnic charges and stuff that we get to put on the targets and blow those things up, so we got permits and stuff to do that.
What is the biggest weapon y'all have shot here at the range for your machine gun shoot?
We've had, I think they brought a 105 out one time just to shoot. Yeah, and it does rock the world here.
I'd say it does. Sounds like you really got Fort Knox in your backyard when you fire that off. Now, what kind of things do y'all blow up when y'all had the machine gun shoot?
Target-wise, we shoot old car bodies, appliances, refrigerator stoves, water heaters, wood and electric spools, old boats.
I've seen a bus or two, maybe?
We've done buses. I think the only thing we haven't shot up probably is an airplane or something.
Is that planning for the future?
If one ever come available, I guess we could take care of it.
Right, and it's a really good, and you have a lot of vendors here, correct?
We do. We have over 1,500 tables in our gun show area, which in the big pole barn area and around the drive as you come into the range. With, I'd say it's about 225 different vendors.
And what kind of items are these vendors carrying? Is it all like new stuff or used stuff? Is it like bargain trading? What goes on?
There's a lot of unique parts and pieces for machine guns. They have machine guns for sale, ammunition, military surplus, just gun parts in general.
Probably a lot of hard to find stuff.
Oh, there is, yeah. And ammunition, they bring tractor trailer loads of ammo out here. So
really?
It's a good time to hunt up some cheap ammo.
What kind of numbers do you see from the general public? I know when you drive by here when they're having a machine gun shoot, they're parked all the way down 44 both ends. And so I know it's a good turnout, but what kind of numbers actually from the public comes out here and sees this stuff?
We normally have between 14 and 16,000 a weekend.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Not only are you, I mean, a lot of people from out of town, so you're really supporting, our local hotels, our local restaurants, and you're really bringing an economic impact to our county here when you do these machine gun shoots.
Yes, sir.
And people seem to enjoy it. You can't go around anywhere in Bullitt County, Jefferson County, Nelson County during that weekend and people not talk about Knob Creek Gun Range because it's the biggest thing going on. So people plan their whole weekends right around your gun shoot.
Yeah. There's folks that, just twice a year, they plan their vacation to come out to the shoot.
That's impressive.
That's their vacation. So.
And folks, so we've told you about Knob Creek every single week on Wild Kentuckiana Live, but we've not yet shown you. So this is exactly what they do here. They also offer, if you would like them, and you don't have time to, if you'd like them to set your rifle in for you, they do offer that service also. So make sure you come out here in Knob Creek on 44. You're right here close to the Jefferson County line. You're in Bullitt County. Very convenient. They got a range official out there, so it's really speedy. You can go in and shoot, go out and get your targets, so you're not waiting around hours for everybody to clear. They really have a professional atmosphere. Everybody here knows what they're doing, so if you have any questions, you can speak with any of the staff. Kenny, you're here every single day.
90% of the time.
Right, so every time I walk in, I always see Kenny here, so get all your ammo here. And folks, if you get a weapon for Christmas, you know you're gonna be wanting to shoot it right off the bat, so make sure you come out here to Knob Creek Gun Range and check out their website. Their website will have all the important information for when the machine gun shoots are happening. They offer concealed classes here.
Yes, sir.
And you also do the Fish and Wildlife Orange Card certifications here.
Yeah, the Hunter Ed classes, we do those.
And you can check their website out for all the information, or on the Hunter Safety, you can go to the fishandwildlife.com website. It will tell you when the classes are here at Knob Creek. So make sure you come out and take care of these guys, because I tell you what, they're doing a great thing out here for all of us. They're really supporting our Second Amendment rights. So folks, thanks for tuning this week to Wild Kentuckiana Live.
About 2 years ago, I was at a expo show, and this guy was playing his turkey call, and it was a high pitch, that cadence, that high pitch cadence, that ear piercing, and he was trying to sell me the call. And I was like, look, man, I don't want to buy it. And he was like, well, what kind of call do you use? I was like, man, I can do that with my voice. He's like, yeah, right, anybody can do that. And when he said that, I was like, well, I give it a shot. And So I did it, and the owner of the company turned around and said, "Is that our call?" He's like, "No, that's that kid," and they ran me away from the booth.
Now, how old were you at the time?
This was 2 years ago, so 21.
21, okay. So they pushed you away from the booth because your sound with no call sound better than their call. So let me hear what you gave them.
Let's do it. So it was a turkey calling company that I was calling for, and it went a little something like this.
I've got a real special guest with me here tonight. I got my son Jacob. Jacob, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing good.
How nervous are you?
I'm pretty nervous.
Okay, it's okay. Well, what we're going to talk about tonight is me and you have done a lot of hunting together.
Mm-hmm.
You're 13 years old. You're an 8th grader, and you get to do a little more hunting than most kids your age. And it has to do with us having the TV show. You know, we get to travel a little bit and get to harvest some different animals. A couple years ago, it was real special because we had me, you, and Pawpaw in the turkey blind, and you got to kill your first turkey, and then we were in the deer blind, and you get to kill your first turkey, or your first deer. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight is we went to Maine.
We did.
Now, when I had told you that on your fall break, we're going to head to Maine, and we're going to go black bear hunting, what was you thinking?
I was ready to leave now.
It's one of those things most kids don't get the opportunity to do.
Not at all.
So what was your buddies saying at school when you told them on fall break they were going to be hanging around the house and you were going to go black bear hunting?
Well, when I told them, they were like, "Can I go?" I was like, "Gotta get your own plane ticket."
Right. And so leading up to the bear hunt, that's all you talked about.
I did.
And was you able to focus at school any?
No.
Your grades show that.
My grades do show that.
So all you were worried about was really just going on this bear hunt.
I was pumped up for it.
Now here's a little GoPro footage right here that of you shooting this bear out of the tree. You see how they got it highlighted there? That's that black bear, and you were using a 30-06. What did it feel like?
Well, I had all the adrenaline pumping through me, so it felt like a BB gun.
Felt like a BB gun.
I thought I could just keep laying bullets into it.
It was a good thing you had a semi-automatic, but you know, how many shots
Yeah.
did it take to actually drop that bear out?
It took 4 shots around the head area to get it out of the tree.
Now, once you got to harvest this bear and it fell out of that tree, what kind of job was it getting it back to the truck?
It was a nightmare. It took 4.5 hours to get it out of the woods, not counting driving back to the lodge. It was hard because to get to one point, you had to go backtrack the other way just to get to the point you're trying to get to.
Right, because if you could just go the way the crow flies, we could have pulled it right out, but it didn't work that way because those woods are just so thick up there that you couldn't pull a bear through that thick stuff. And we had, 7 or 8 guys pulling,
Yeah.
and it still took us 4.5 hours, in which I can understand if it was really hilly like it is here in Kentucky in some places, but that place is flat as flat gets.
It is.
Now, when we went in there to make the decision to shoot that bear, originally I was going to shoot that bear because it gave me a perfect bow opportunity to shoot it.
You didn't know that, though.
I didn't know at the time, you're right, but while we were driving trying to find where this bear was at, how many times did you tell me you were killing this bear?
A good handful of times.
Absolutely a good handful of times. So, I was happy with. I was great. It was a great feeling for me to run the camera and to be able to be there with you when you shot this bear. And you know, as people will see in the footage at a later date when it airs on TV, that how excited you were when you shot that animal. Because the question I asked you was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped up are you? And you were just going 10, 10, 10. And it's going to be really good footage, and it almost made me tear up just being with you because you were tearing up because you were so excited.
I was happy as can be.
Yeah, I mean, and you had the same response when you killed your deer and you killed your turkey. You know, just being and you're a very thankful kid, and I really appreciate that you're always thankful that you get to do things you get to do. But it was just really special of just being there with you and being there with Pawpaw, 3 generations of hunters, and then having Justin along with us, which is, you know, a family member of ours now. So it was just really exciting. After you shot your bear, I didn't care if I saw another bear the rest of the time I was there. I was just happy that you got yours.
And you let us know that too.
Yeah, I'll let you know that. You know, it was fun for us.
It was.
Now, how do you like being part of the Lights Out Outdoors team?
It's a great experience of like just filming, hunting, the
Being
whole
around
9
all the different
yards.
people.
Yeah,
And so do you enjoy being on the team?
I do.
What's your favorite part of it?
I'd have to say filming probably. I think it's really fun.
Now, we had a guest stay with us about a month ago. Josh Carney, Son of the South, he was on the show here with us. And he was really wishing you wasn't in school no more because he said you did a wonderful job running that camera for him. And y'all got the chance to hunt together.
We did.
Now, how'd you like that?
It was a great experience because he'd sit there on his phone and keep playing with me. Like, he did this one trick on me. Like, he has phone. He looked over and said, "Big buck, big buck," and he said, "Right here in the Outdoor Channel."
So you were looking around, thinking you're gonna have a deer, and he was showing to you on your phone, on his phone.
He recorded the whole thing as a prank. It got me so mad.
Well, he said you did a wonderful job, and you're turning into a really, really good camera guy, and that's good because I need a good camera guy.
You do.
And you work really cheap, so that's always a plus, don't
Well,
you?
No, not really.
You're right. You're pretty expensive. So, what's your next hunt you want to do? You've done turkey, you've done bear, you've done white-tailed deer. What would you like to do next? Let's see if Mom will set it up for us.
I want to go bow fishing.
You want to go bow fishing?
I do.
Okay. Well, that's something that's going to be really cool. I've never got into bow fishing. I'd like to. It looks like it's a pretty cool little sport to do, and I've seen some really cool footage on it.
Yeah. Josh
so-
does it a lot.
Yeah, Josh does do a lot of bow fishing, so we could definitely get that set up. That wouldn't be no problem. Another former guest we had on here, Eddie Hale from Gun World, is a great big bow fisherman. And last time he was on, he really brought some bow setups for us, and that was really cool. So we should probably contact him and maybe get him out there and see if he can get us hooked up with some stuff.
That'd be awesome.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're a big bow fisherman, and you brought with you this pretty bow fishing rig.
Yeah, it's Hillbilly Crack.
Hillbilly Crack. Is that the name of it?
No, that's addictive.
Oh, is that what it
Bow
is?
fishing. Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about this rig right here.
All right, it's got a Muzzy XD Pro reel. It's a new reel that Muzzy brought out for bow fishing. Comes with a 200-pound line, braided. Shooting a Muzzy Alcatraz arrow and their 3-barb Alcatraz point. I also got a coyote light on there I hunt coyotes with, so it's a pretty tight beam. I'd also suggest getting something a little bit designed for bow fishing.
Now this rig right here, I'm sure this is one of the top of the line ones with you being at Gun World, and you do a lot of bow fishing. For the person that's just wanting to get into bow fishing, can they get a very inexpensive setup?
Oh yeah, you can find anything from a recurve to something that looks like you wouldn't give your kids to bow fish
That
with.
make great bow fishing bows.
Yeah.
I seen a guy one time using a NAS bow
Oh yeah, it works.
to bow fish with.
Yeah, it works. The NAS are pretty popular. They got one that's called a Gen X they just brought out. Goes up to 45 pounds.
Okay.
Kind of like the Fish Hawk. They all do very good jobs. I lost one that looked something like that in the Barkley Dam.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Now you brought another rig with you too. You brought your hunting setup.
Yep. It's a new bow that Matthews brought out last year. It's more of they started out as a woman's bow. It's Matthews SDX, but
Is that why you shoot it?
yep, that's
Okay.
exactly why I shoot it, because people hate when they get beat by girls.
By a girl, right?
So when the dude's shooting a girl's bow, it makes it worse. This year, 2015, they started letting it be released in 70 pounds. So
Okay.
70 pounds is 30.5 inches axle on 28.5 inches at bow shot 328.
And that's fast, and there's not many deer's going to duck that.
No, it's smoking fast. And I mean, the arrow I shoot out of it weighs 430 grains. It shoots roughly 300 feet a second.
Now, you're sponsored by Matthews.
Yep.
You're on their factory staff.
Yes, sir.
What exactly does that mean for people who don't know that they see that? And most people think you're a pro. I know you, so I know you're not a pro.
Yeah.
I've seen you shoot.
Yeah, we won that tournament at your house together.
We did win that tournament at our house together. We did do that. But, you know, people at home think pro means professional.
Well, I mean, pro staff is often perceived as professional.
Right.
But you're in the industry, you know as well as I do. It's just someone that stands out in the community that a
promotes.
company wants to promote
Right.
their product. We have several pro staff people for Gun World
Oh, do you?
throughout the community that they shoot, you know, bows that we carry, arrows we carry.
Right. And shoot
Sites.
local tournaments or?
Local tournaments and national tournaments. We shoot a lot of national tournaments.
Now, being on the factory staff with Matthews, are you required to shoot so many IBO and ASA tournaments?
I haven't been in the past. They've never mentioned that as a requirement. I shoot enough of them that I would surpass the requirement. That wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
But shooting IBO and ASA, you know, both have their ups and downs.
For people that don't know what that is, explain to the folks at home what an ASA or an IBO is.
IBO is International Bow Hunters Organization, and it was founded, I think, around 30 years ago. And it started off as 2D targets and then went to 3D targets.
Right.
You know, I've had a lot of friends that thought you would just buy a target for what you're going to hunt and practice on it. But it's an unknown distance on most of them that you're judging your yardage and you're trying to hit something the size of a silver dollar.
And it's tough, especially when you're reaching out there 45, 50 yards and trying to hit that little ring for the scoring points.
Yeah, and you don't know what distance it is.
Exactly. But it's more like real bow hunting
Yeah,
until they come out with rangefinders. Now everybody knows the distance.
yeah. And then the ASA has that, they have those classes
Yeah.
for the guy that don't feel like they want to judge yardage, practice that. They
And
can
you
shoot
know,
known distance
they both
classes.
have different legs. Like I know IBO does an Indiana tournament. They have an Erie, PA tournament. Is that right?
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
this coming up here, it's going to be mixed all around. They moved them. They got one at Monroe Reservoir, one in West Virginia, and one in Pennsylvania again.
Well, that's good because typically IBO has been more of a northern
Northern,
tournament.
yeah,
And the ASA has always kind of been more of a southern tournament.
yeah. They're starting to get more up northern though, because their northern tournaments are the bigger ones.
They are. You know, I know the one they have in London, Kentucky every year is a huge one. The Metropolis, Illinois is a big one.
That one, London had almost 1,800 shooters last year.
And that's impressive. You know, and 3D is a great way to stay in practice for bow hunting
Oh, it is an awesome way.
because you're consistently working on your shot, you're working on your release. If you're at in a class that you have to judge distance, you're constantly judging all the time, whether you're practicing or you're at the tournament or if you're in the stand.
The thing I like about it more than anything is you're always helping other people.
Yeah.
You get the satisfaction of being able to lend a hand.
Absolutely. You know, when you go to these different tournaments, IBO and ASA, it's a great big family.
Yeah.
You know, everybody watches out for everybody else, and you know they have all these vendors, and these vendors are willing to help. And I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. I think it was in Florida, and I was like shooting 6-up. I was shooting really good, and I drew back and didn't have an arrow, and I dry fired.
Yeah.
And
That don't count though.
it don't count because I didn't have an arrow, but I had to run up to the vendors
Get your string put back
and get
on.
everything put back on. And they didn't charge me anything. They were just glad to help me, run me back out to the range. So, you know, for the folks that want to get into 3D shooting, IBO or ASA is a great way to start. And you can start out by going to your local clubs and shooting the local 3D targets to get warmed up and see if it's something you're interested in. And you could spend anything from $500 to $5,000 on equipment.
Depends on what your flavor is.
Exactly. Eddie, I appreciate you coming in with me, brother.
Thank you, Tom.
We'll get together, we'll do some hunting this year, and we'll
Slice
shoot
and
something.
dice.
Stay tuned, folks. Now, that first deer you killed, was that your favorite hunting memory that you have?
No, my favorite hunting memory has got to be my first turkey. My first turkey, it was on Derby Day of my freshman year of high school, maybe. I think it was. Maybe it was 8th grade. It was something like that, but it was on Derby Day. It was the last weekend of the season. And
there's a picture. Look how young you look there.
Oh,
man.
yeah, you can see it. That's
haven't
my
started
second.
shaving yet.
No, that's my second turkey, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's my second. Well, the first one was actually a Jake. That right there is actually a double beard. Couldn't
Nice.
see it. Yeah, so I was pretty pumped. But first turkey, calling at it, finally comes, it had shut up for a long time, finally starts coming down this hill towards me. And my dad was kind of sitting across from me, but off a little ways, and he sees my eyes. And he couldn't look behind him and see the turkey, but he knew something was going on. Well, I tried pulling the trigger twice on this turkey. Nothing's happening. He could see the panic in my eyes. And all of a sudden, I just thought, maybe the slide isn't closed. Throw the slide closed. That turkey looked up. Boom. Got him.
Nice.
It
So
was
even
awesome.
after making all the noise, you still got it
Got him.
accomplished.
Yeah.
We're going to take another quick short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more hunting.
Good deal.
Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain, and we have Dennis Moore here with us, an avid outdoorsman from Taylorsville, Kentucky. And before we went to break, we were talking about this really nice 8-pointer that was coming into you, and how hard the work it is putting into it preseason.
Yes.
For this to pay off during the season.
Yes, absolutely.
And you had gone through and put some food plots out, and some of them had success, some of them didn't. As you can see in some of that video, you were putting corn out regular, which is a great thing Kentucky allows us to do. A lot of states doesn't allow any type of baiting.
Yes.
We're very fortunate that Kentucky allows us to do that. And then you had to be getting several night pictures, and all of a sudden, bam, here comes a couple of daylight pictures.
October shows up and he starts popping up in daylight.
And it's, as you can see here in the video, you had some does out there with you, and you can see that cedar thicket there that he's popping out of. Now, are you in a blind of some sort of raised blind?
I'm in an elevated box. It's not a box blind. It's kind of a 4x4 post tower. It's
Okay.
hand built wooden.
Yep.
And I stuck a Ameristep ground blind on top of it.
Okay, so you built a platform and then fastened the Ameristep on top of it?
Yes, 12
Okay.
foot up.
12 foot up.
12
wow,
foot up,
that's a pretty
yes.
good one up there then for a ground blind.
Yeah.
Just make sure you watch your step. So you can see it's really nice. And what did y'all name this deer?
I named him Thorn. As you can see right here on his left brow tine, he's got just a little hook over there. It resembles a thorn, and that's how I got that name. It's a thorn. That's what I called him.
And he's got a nice little crab claw up there on the left-hand side also. Now he come in, he had no idea you were even there, did he?
No, the wind was out of the south, which was, the only wind that I could hunt. And during the October low, like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
I stayed out. The wind wasn't right, so it would only come into this spot with the south wind.
And I really feel like it's where a lot of hunters mess up. They don't use the wind. You've got to play that wind. You got to hunt stands that are only good for that wind. People feel like, well, I took a bath and scent suppressant. Well, that doesn't always work. You've got to use that wind to your advantage.
That's right.
And if it means not hunting that stand, it means not hunting that stand. Because all you're going to do is educate that deer.
Yes.
And as soon as you educate that deer's already smart. He don't need any more school.
Oh, yeah.
And when he starts smelling things he knows aren't there, you'll lose him every time. Now this shot here, were you already at full draw?
Not yet. I was almost at full draw. I was, like I said, I was working the camera and trying to get situated with the bow also.
It's tough
So,
self-filming, isn't it?
right about now is when I come to full draw. So unfortunately, I'm stuck, but I can't switch the camera around. So you can kind of see the arrow pass through across the screen. And there you go. Grab the camera. Got a good shot running away.
I can see the lumen just pop out.
And he's gone.
Did you have a red lumen lock there?
No, I did not. I'm not really sure what that of.
Looked like a red bright.
It might have been off the camera,
Okay.
reflecting off the ground, the blind.
I tell you
Oh,
what,
that's
that
my
is
guess.
a quality deer.
Appreciate
How
it.
far did he run after you shot him?
The majority of that was downhill, but I'd say he probably went 70 or 80 yards.
Really?
Like I said, but you can see in the film, majority is straight down. It's a very steep hill, which is another reason I had the elevated blind. is because once you get past a certain point on this hill, the wind never changes.
Gotcha.
So I had to be at least halfway up in order to get a somewhat consistent wind at some point. So.
And those deer are coming up, if you're on the ground, when they come up, they're almost dead eye with you at that point.
Yeah. Even with that elevated, they're still pretty close to.
Are they really?
Yeah. It's a slight tapering hill. Yeah.
And have you been seeing other quality deer in that area?
That's the biggest one I have on camera. Not saying there's not there, like
Sure.
you mentioned. There was several young 2-year-olds. I'm talking 5 or 6 more that next year could reach this potential also, in my opinion.
And that's the key is, to do all your management properly, you also have to pass on the small bucks. And that's part of being a good steward of the outdoors is letting these deer get a little more age on them, a little more comfortable around the surroundings, and just grow them. That's the key. As we'll see later on in our next guest coming up, Austin. He's killed a dandy this year, but he really manages hard his deer, and we need more people in the outdoors like that. We need to have the Orange Army stop shooting all these 1.5 and 2-year-old bucks that are just out cruising. And I understand you want deer meat, and everybody wants deer meat. We all love it, but there's ample enough does out there to handle that.
I'm still eating on that summer sausage from my first doe this year.
My son just killed a doe, his first bow kill, a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago. And we dropped it off and had summer sausage and just got it back, and he's been wearing it out ever since.
Oh,
so.
it's crazy good.
Now, what do you think this deer is going to score?
My hopes is probably low 140s. Everyone else seemed to tell me it might go a little higher. Realistically, I'm thinking low 140s is what I'm thinking. He's a mainframe 8 with just those 2 little kickers on out in the front. Yeah. So I'm saying 140s.
And it doesn't really matter what he scores. He's a trophy.
Oh, he's a huge deer to me.
He's a very good deer, and if you're happy with him, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah.
I would have shot that deer and not ever thought twice about that deer, and most people would, you know. And that's why we kind of on this show here, we want to bring on the guys that just strictly hunt, that are not looking to, they're not promoting a TV show or whatever they're doing, because there's guys out there that are just like you, but they're doing the same thing I'm doing. Managing your deer, making sure they're right. Minerals are very important early in the year. Make sure they're having that growth they're needing when they're in velvet. And now, are you a big mineral guy?
I do. I put a lot of minerals out also, springtime.
What kind of minerals do you typically use?
Homemade. Google will teach you a lot of things these days, so
they will.
I mix my own stuff together.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, are you still in pursuit of any does?
Oh yeah, I bought 2 bonus tags last weekend, and I got 2 more to fill. I did actually miss a doe last weekend with my bow, so I still got 2 more doe tags.
So you missed one?
Unfortunately.
It happens, man. We've all done that.
She got me.
I tell you what, the hardest deer to kill are those 3.5, 4-year-old does. They're smarter than any buck I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they picked me off pretty quick. She was a bigger doe, and she knew where I was at coming in. So that I had a limb in the way, and that's not going to be my excuse, but I had to duck that limb just a little bit, and I made a poor shot, didn't miss, draw it clean. So.
Same stand?
No, this is my family farm in closer to Mammoth Cave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hart County area?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I tell you what, Dennis, I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us about that quality deer you shot, and you did a wonderful job. You did a great job on the film, and Lights Out Outdoors is very pleased to show that on our episode coming up this year on Pursuit Channel. And we'll be bringing you back on our TV show to actually talk a little bit more about this deer.
Awesome.
And I really can't wait to see what our editor does with this episode, to how he puts his little touches on it.
Should be fun.
It's going to be a blast, and we'll bring you on, and we'll talk about it, and we'll have a good time.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Thank you very much. Folks, when we come back, we're going to have Austin. He's going to talk a little bit about a fairly good-sized deer he killed. I mean, I've seen bigger. But we'll show you some pictures of it, and we'll talk a little more, so stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain. If you got any questions for the Senator, you can call us at 502-964-2121. And what we talked about in the first segment with Senator was a little bit how it works with you all, what you do, and how you supported the Second Amendment rights and how you were a co-sponsor of the concealed permit. Now, I think most people out there don't really realize what happens when you actually hit the Senate floor. So can you give us a little how-to that goes on?
You know, what amazes me is everybody is so in tune to what's going on at the federal level.
Right.
Constantly about the federal level. Folks, I'm here to tell you that what this Kentucky General Assembly can do to you or for you or against you will affect you a whole lot quicker than anything the federal government does.
Right.
Absolutely. You need to be aware of these people. We do have committee hearings all during the legislative session. Mm-hmm. Health and welfare being one, judiciary being another, transportation in another. They're all open to the public. Anybody can show up at that Capitol. It's your Capitol, you know.
That's right.
You know, you belong there. If you want to walk in that door, you come show up, and it's available. Everything is open to the public. There are no secrets. Of course, the problem you have, if nobody's in the room, you know, that's not good.
Right.
And so that's what we do. These are long 16-hour days. Putting this thing together. I have people in my office constantly. You know, my office belongs to the people that's in the Senate district. That's their office.
It's in Frankfort, correct?
In Frankfort. That's their office. And they're entitled to walk through that door just any time. I prefer you call up and tell me you're coming.
Right.
But if you show up, I'm still going to see you. I'm the senator, and you're my constituent. And, you know, I have a lot of concerns about Bullitt County and its needs. It's not just about the sportsmen and amendment rights. It's about bringing those transportation dollars home.
Right.
You know, Bullitt County needs to widen Highway 44 badly.
Tremendously. I'm a Bullitt County resident, and I fight that 44 traffic every single day.
And it's my job to every time you go to that gas pump and you get a gallon of gas and you pay that 45 cents in fuels tax, it's my job to make sure Bullitt County gets its fair share. And that's what we do. And of course, now if you're not telling me what road you want.
Right. You don't know what to do.
Exactly. So.
Now, you do have, watching this show, there will be a lot of Bullitt County residents because we reach well into Bullitt County. We have a big Bullitt County following. And you also have a small portion of Jefferson County, too, there. So what are other needs you're seeing in the portion of Jefferson County and in Bullitt County in general that, you know, you're trying to do for that county?
Well, part of the Bullitt County, the Jefferson County areas, I have part of Fern Creek, Highview, Okolona, Fairdale, and part of Valley Station.
Okay.
And the needs all the way through there are just tremendous. We have a lot of street and road problems. We've got sound barrier problems. Everybody up and down the Gene Snyder wants a sound barrier, and that goes on for I-65 in Bullitt County too. So
right.
The needs are just tremendous, and you do your best to fill them. And so it's just an ongoing, constant process. And of course, it's always nice to be invited to your neighborhood association or your church function to let me know what your needs are.
And that's great. Do you get a lot of invites like that?
Yes, I do. I'm out there. I'm out constantly, and I just kind of that's what I do.
Right.
I'm supposed to be there. You invite me, I show up.
Sure.
That's what I do, and I'm in and out of a lot of churches. I consider myself a Christian.
Absolutely.
Obviously a Christian in progress, but
right, aren't we all?
Consider that, and so I'm concerned about the survival of our Christian government that was founded on Christian values, and it's just what the founding fathers were about. So.
And I'm sure you get a lot of invites to speak at outdoor church functions that deal with like they have their outdoor dinners and the wild game dinners and types of things like that. I'm sure you get a lot of invites to that.
I do, and
you get the best victuals around when you go to those.
Absolutely, and I'm not afraid to walk into a church. You know, some people are. It is fascinating, but I'm available just anytime.
I'll tell you, meeting you today, Senator, what impresses me the most is you have a lot of beliefs, and you are strong about your beliefs, and you don't hide your beliefs.
No, sir.
You're very upfront, you're very candid, and you're very honest about what you feel strongly about, whether it be pro-life, whether it be the Second Amendment, whether it be taking care of your constituents in Bullitt and Jefferson County. That impresses me because a lot of times politicians are always politicians, and you don't always see the true side of a politician because they're always campaigning, and they leave the touchy subjects alone because they don't want to offend nobody. You're very strong in your beliefs, and that impresses me, and I'm sure that impresses a lot of the viewers out there that are in your area that are voting for you. So we really appreciate what you're doing for our county, what you're doing for our Second Amendment rights, what you're doing for everything in Frankfort in general. So we really do appreciate that, and you probably don't hear that enough. You hear a lot of the complaints.
You get a lot of complaints, but every now and then somebody compliments you. You know, I remember years ago when we got rid of that vehicle emission testing program.
Yeah, the VET program.
A lot of people, the VET program they call it, a lot of people appreciated that one, but that was oppressive government.
Yeah.
You know, and those things are scary. You know, for instance, a lot of people don't realize that when we and I didn't vote for this, but when we passed the seatbelt law, you got to put that in perspective. The day that went into effect, we criminalized 1.1 million Kentuckians over their seatbelts.
Right. So you basically, if they wouldn't wear their seatbelt, they were now a criminal.
Exactly. I mean, it's just craziness. In the meantime, we've got felons running our streets and a murder rate and a crime rate that's out of control, clean across this country, and we're running around worrying about who's wearing a seatbelt, who don't have a helmet on, who's doing the, it's just
a lot of petty stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we never get down to the crux of it. So if you're listening to us today, I highly recommend you get your concealed carry and protect your family.
Because there's times where, you know, in our police forces, and we support our police force wholeheartedly, but they're spread so thin, they can't always do everything.
Well, anytime you pass a new law like it, criminalizing somebody over some entity, there's never any new money for police officers.
Right.
So it all gets spread out kind of thin. So now they're picking and choosing what they can enforce and what they can't enforce.
Right, so they're making the same amount of money, the department's getting the same amount of money, but you're expecting them to do more work.
Exactly, and it's a constant ongoing thing. So now they're having to pick and choose what they enforce and what they don't enforce. And incidentally, you mentioned the pro-life issue, and I've been doing pro-life bills since the 80s, before it was the issue it is today, you know, and I'm just amazed, and I'll be very cold and upfront with this. I'm not a believer in setting your babies out with the garbage. You don't do that, you know, and we raise our babies, absolutely. So,
well, folks, I tell you what, make sure you keep tuning into us every single week, because we are bringing you different people every week, and it's exciting. You know, Commissioner Johnson was on here. We got senators on here, pro football players, Chris Redmond. We had pro baseball players on here. Always send us your input. We'd love to hear it. We'd like to have people call in and ask us questions, and we'd be glad to answer them live on the air for you. And we're always here defending your rights. So stay tuned next week. Wild Kentuckiana Live, folks.